comment section is already rolling. The favorites are in there. It's a nice positive atmosphere.
Yes,
because things were not
that's what
very positive this
yes,
weekend.
we definitely need this after this past weekend's game. We need good vibes. We definitely need good vibes going forward into Saturday. So, but we'll definitely get into that upcoming here. So, looking forward to it.
So, with no further ado, or with further ado, like
Okay.
we like to say on this ridiculous show, you always got to bring in. Are we at the point where he's just the third brother, or does he still get the intro?
I think he's on cousin status right now, but he's on the brink of becoming brother, and he's almost entered uncle stage because he's got that chair. That chair is uncle. That's an uncle chair right there. That's that.
This is true.
That's that. I'm not getting up for the next 6 hours chair. Leave me alone. Get me a beer. That's that chair.
I mean, that's perfectly put, Rodg. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Without further ado, or like I said, with further ado, Rodg, you know when we had to replace Formby in the game, right?
Yeah.
You want to know who made the call? It was his call to go ahead and get him replaced.
Yep.
He was so upset after the game that he is the one that ran practice on Monday. So if you want to know why everybody's exhausted, that's why, right? And as always, because he's always beating up Marvin Constant, he was so upset in the middle of the game, he actually picked up Marvin Constant and body slammed him.
There's always a Marvin Constant reference. There's always a Marvin Constant reference.
If you ever watch any of the Bama Standard stuff, you know why. I gotta let him get his revenge. So, welcome to the stage, Uncle Smith, Uncle Steven.
Uncle Steve. Uncle Steve. We'll call him Uncle Steve.
This chair does kind of give off that vibe. So you know what? I'll roll with it. Herb, you are correct. There were some moments in that game over the weekend that were not so positive. So appreciate all the positivity in here as this Bama team tries to clean this up for this week.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to everybody real quick, and we'll jump right into it. What's up, Randy? How are you doing, sir? Randy,
good evening, Randy.
Randy it's all positive for Randy right now. George is rolling. You'll get to talk about them tomorrow night and Thursday. Have some college picks. So what's up, Randy? Randy, I'm gonna post your other comment later because when we start talking about the game, but that's an excellent point. Cat, Roll Tide, what's up? She's already making promises to Randy. That's what love you.
Oh yeah.
Lady Alpha, what's up?
Roll Tide. Shout out to Lady Alpha.
The Alpha Pools are in the house.
Alpha Pool. Yes. Oh yeah, I like that name.
Yep. So what's up, ladies? And where's my boy? Yep, the running Big Mike, who does all our graphics, cuts together all our stuff for us, man, and has got his podcast that he's taken over, Run-In Wrestling One. I don't know when Mike's doing his regular ones, but I also know Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, they do their podcast as well. So, everybody, please check out Big Mike, man. He's on the road to 100, so help get him his subscription, please, too. So, and this is, Steven, you might recognize this. This is, what is it, Don Parker? This is a reference to him on the Bama Standard, who basically follows around every single podcast. I don't know if you've seen this, but on every Bama Standard podcast,
Don is like really intense about it, man. Don's like,
I've heard a little bit about him, but I'm gonna have to tune in a little more just to go deeper into that. So,
Rodg, it is it's like, okay, I get it. You're but every comment is like that, and every comment is over exaggerated. You're just like, we get it. Can you calm down for a second? So
yeah.
And Stephen M., this was actually posted in our private chats, not between Randy and I. Another person had the similar contact, but man, you are the hardest working man in show business. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I do float around everywhere, so I do float around everywhere. I appreciate those fun.
Yep. Well, we always appreciate you stopping in. All right, we do have to go back in a little to the negative. We are going to start with talking about feelings in the middle of that game. We're going to flip it up a little bit this time. Rodg, we're going to let you go first to kind of give like our perspective and how you and I were talking kind of during the game and what your feelings were. But if you can please try not to be a flibberty gibbet and leave some time for the rest of us to go ahead and get into the conversation, okay? But just start off with the fan perspective sitting at home. What were you going through during the game?
All right, fan perspective, sitting at home watching the game on TV. Of course, I was frustrated with the amount of penalties that we were receiving. I was on social media, going on Twitter too, just going back and forth watching the game on social media, and I saw people saying, "Run the ball. We need to run the ball. Run the ball more." It's hard to run the ball when it's 2nd and 20. It seems like every other possession, or when you're constantly getting penalized. We had 13 penalties for 120 yards. You just can't run the ball all the time. You gotta get that offensive line, to gel together a little bit. We all know Wilkin Formby. He had a bad game. And while I'm talking about Wilkin Formby, he's not a bad player. I'm gonna say he's not a bad player. He's a redshirt freshman. He's still young. He had a bad game. People have bad games. It happens. He's gonna take this moment and he's gonna learn from this. Luckily, he's got some good teammates around him that are gonna keep him positive, keep him uplifted, and he'll be a much better player after, especially after Saturday. So he'll be just fine. Shout out to Wilkin Formby. Everything's gonna be fine. Other than that, I mean, offensively, obviously, in the last couple minutes of the game when Elijah Pritchard came in, we made that change there. The offense started cooking. We started running the ball more. We got some good passes in. Things looked pretty good. Defensively, can I go into the defense now, or you kind of want to hold off a little bit?
We can start there. And I was actually flipping through our texts, Rodg, and they were pretty short during this game.
Yeah.
This is extremely frustrating. It's like the kind of feeling
it is because of what happened last year, and you kind of get this feeling like of deja vu, kind of like, oh Lord, here we go again. The one thing that we didn't think was going to happen this game is happening. Here we go. Just get O-line getting tackled and just getting beat up, and things just weren't looking as smooth as I thought they were going to look. But luckily, we prevailed. Another thing I want to say is, I know Coach DeBoer received some criticism online from social media, people saying whatever the case it is. But listen, we had bad games under Nick Saban. We've had bad games under every single coach we've ever had. It's gonna happen. Right. It happened. We won 42-16. That's the bottom line. We're gonna look much better than this. Much better this upcoming Saturday.
Yeah. So jumping in where Rodg is kind of leaving off, sticking with the offense. I know, from watching you guys talk about it, you were particularly frustrated with some other stuff other than the offensive line, like wide receiver routes in the passing game, right? It was one of your points as well.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. There was a point in that game. I was in the press box wondering, can I get Sawsit right now? Can I get real Sawsit right now? Can I have that? But I mean, in all seriousness, though, I mean, the route concepts were an issue for me because it was like they were trying to throw all go balls the whole game, or all verticals to Ryan Williams. Now, I understand Ryan Williams is a special talent. He 100% is. But what makes an offense dynamic is you have a variety of route concepts. I was looking for, okay, where are the slant routes? Where are the comeback patterns? Where are the crossing routes? Where are the digs, the short outs, the short post routes? Where are those variation of routes there? And we didn't see a whole lot of that until no later in the game where Ryan Williams scores on a comeback route. Kobe Prentice scores in a slant post type pattern. You even had different routes being ran by Jeremy Bernard, and Germ made a couple of really nice catches on some different routes. So that's what I want to see more from Nick Sheridan. Bama's got the receivers. But if you go back to that 2019 Alabama receiver room, Steve Sarkisian did a tremendous job. Like, not every route was the same. Devontae Smith had different routes. Henry Ruggs had different routes. Jerry Jeudy had different routes. Jalen Waddle had different routes. Everybody had a different route, and Sark was able to manipulate to get guys open. So for Nick Sheridan, you don't have to go vertical or go ball every single time. That was very frustrating for me.
Go ahead, Rodg. I know because one of our text messages kind of alluded to this fact.
Long
ball.
Yeah, that's something that Herb and I have been discussing. We even discussed it a little bit last season. It just seems like Milroe is not forcing himself, but it seems like that's the only read he's looking for sometimes on some of the passes. So is that a result of Milroe making that decision, or is it more on the play calling from Sheridan?
Hey, Steve, you still got yourself.
It's more so to me on the play calling as opposed to Milroe. Now, what Milroe has to get better at is when he's under duress, under pressure, he still has that I'm shook. What am I going to do look?
Yeah.
And he bails out of the pocket, and you're wondering, okay, what is this guy going to do? Versus having the confidence, oh, okay, I know they're blitzing, right? I got my hot read here. I got my screen guy here, or I'm just going to take this ball, take off and run with it. Having that decision made up, even when you're under pressure, even when you're under duress and you're getting blitzed by the opposition. That's the big thing I want to see from Milroe, because there are times where he gets blitzed. He's like, oh, snap. And he starts backing up, and he doesn't know what in the world is my next move here. So that's the big thing for Milroe. When you're under duress, have a decision already made up of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm already looking at Georgia blitzing him like 1,000 times during that game. So it's kind of, you better.
You know Kirby and Glenn Schumann are going to go blitz crazy. Rob too.
Yep. Can't blame them on that front at all, though.
Yeah.
So, Raj, that kind of answer your question, though, about what you're looking at and what you're thinking as far as that
goes? Yeah. I mean, I just and it goes back to something we've been talking about too. I just want to see him kind of change it up as far as the passing game in general. I know he's got the vertical game, and we knew that even coming into the season that was his dominant power. But I would like to see some little 5-yard, some little 10-yard passes, and just kind of sustain some drives. And again, it goes back to my point when if it ever comes down to it, let's just say we're playing a tough game and it's tied, 28-28, we got the ball with 2 minutes left. I don't want to see a deep ball. If we score and we get a touchdown, that's cool. Right. But then now the opposing team has about a minute 45, a minute 50 to come back and score on us. So I want to see us to be able to, drive the ball down the field, have a nice long drive, wear their defense out. And on the other hand, just give our defense some time to rest. I know there's sometimes our defense comes off the field, and if we go 3-and-out, the defense is coming right back on the field, and they're exhausted from what they previously did. So, yeah, to Stephen M's point, I just, I guess maybe some of it is the route running, but I just want to see more of a versatile, I guess, offense, so to speak.
And then for just those guys at wide receiver to just get open, because they also have some issues there creating separation on the routes that they do run. So those guys just being able to get open is key. And when Milroe is scrambling, work back to him. Don't just keep on your route. Break off your route and work back to where he is, so that way he sees you and he can get the ball to you. So that's some of the things that need to be cleaned up this week in practice.
Yeah. Real quick, what's up? Football talk.
What's going on, Bo?
I would say when Bo's on the air, but it's probably easier to list when he's not on the air. So if there's ever anybody who might be on as much as you, Steven, there's my boy Bo. So good to hear from you. And then Chris Hayes, another Georgia Bulldog guy, heavily on the breakdowns of plays. If you want to understand why a play worked or don't work, Chris is a guy to go to. And Chris, I owe you a DM to talk about a future show. So how are we feeling? We don't know. We're like trying to keep positive. It's probably, am I right? This is the worst you're ever gonna feel after a game where you win by 26 points. Like, it's not just a little bit crazy that everyone is like, the sky is falling?
It's because we know we have the potential to be a lot better, and we didn't want to see that, happen this past Saturday. I guess that's my reason. I just know that we could have won this game by a lot more points. And one other thing I will say about this, if that USF quarterback could actually complete some passes, this score would have looked a lot different, because they were beating, I think it was Red Morgan on the corner out there. Somebody was beating him 3 times in a row. He kept throwing to him, but he just kept overthrowing his receiver. So we got lucky there.
I mean, I'll say this. I think what has caused a lot of the frustration, this all happened on the day you're dedicating the field to the Saban family.
Yeah.
And you had all of that going on, the emotions of that. You had Coach Saban, ESPN, caught him a few times on the sideline, just shaking his head in disappointment. And you had so many fans going, my gosh, DeBoer too calm, man. Break something, slap somebody, mama, hit somebody, break a headset, cuss somebody out, show some passion, man. If this was Nick Saban, Nick would have done. I'm like, y'all, this is not Nick Saban.
It's not Nick Saban,
It's not
Nick Saban. Part on it, so you better watch out for DeBoer, what he's going to do for you. So, and good point by Mike here. He did take accountability afterwards. So, it's game 2 under the new regime. So that's what bothers me the most. Yeah, if you look around the country, a lot of teams are struggling, especially in these early games. You have a lot of new, either coaching staffs, new quarterbacks, new whatever. Outside of, yes, our guys at Georgia, no team is really just looking great. I guess Texas, I can't throw Texas in that mix too.
Texas looks good.
But there's a lot of other teams like the Oregons of the world who just aren't looking that great. We're still 2-0. So let's not pretend like the sky is falling. Nobody's going to have any sympathy for it.
Michigan got pummeled.
Yeah. Offensively, Michigan just didn't have any answers for Texas.
Right, yeah. So, Rodg, where you got, or whichever one of y'all wants to pick up first, that's kind of what your offensive breakdown. What were you guys seeing defensively? Rodg, you just kind of alluded to it. We got a little lucky with their quarterback not being accurate, but overall, how did either one of you guys feel? Whoever wants to go first, the feeling about the defensive effort in game 2.
I'll let Steven go.
The defensive effort, yes, we had, Alabama had some of the guys from the secondary to get burned on plays. Red Morgan, Xavier Brown, both freshmen, and they will both be coached out of that. Some of that was some of those guys were put in rough situations because, South Florida was going fast, tempo, and they threw a freshman out there. I think they threw Red Morgan out there on a play, and Red didn't quite know, and that's why he got burned badly on that play. But those will be things that will be worked on, coached out. I was disappointed with the fact that Bama gave up 108 yards rushing to their quarterback. Get him on the ground, several broken tackles he was able to force. Bama was able to keep South Florida out the end zone 3 out of 4 times in the red area, but they did score once in the red area, which Kane Womack is very disappointed by. Alabama did not force a takeaway in the game. That's another thing Coach Womack was frustrated by. Though Alabama gave up 3, but they had 3 turnovers themselves. So defensively, there was some good, but there are definitely some stuff that, Coach Womack this week in practice is going to be really teeing off on these guys about. He's already started it.
Yeah.
Rodg, you kind of echo that?
Yeah, same sentiments here. I predicted, I think, going into the game that we would have 1 interception, but then as I started watching the game longer and longer, I started to realize that they're not going to throw the ball enough for us to actually get an interception. So once I realized that, I kind of figured that our defense would adjust and stop the run, but we just could not stop the run. That same quarterback was running the ball right up the middle all over us. Again, that was just somewhat frustrating to watch. But again, to Stephen's point, I think that they'll assess this during practice this week and have us ready for Saturday for going to Wisconsin.
I just feel like it was a situation where we as consumers, we were waiting for Bama to deliver the knockout blow. We were waiting for the Mike Tyson punch to put these guys away. And it's like, when is the punch coming? You hit them jab, 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 somewhat jab. Where's
the uppercut
punch coming?
Yeah.
And it's like, it didn't happen until Elijah Pritchett comes in off the bench with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They were like, thank God, there's the knockout blow. It's over.
Yep.
I agree. So let me ask you this too, since I always feel like those two are, Kat. And the funniest thing about the knockout blows is they weren't expected. We were just like, all right, we can breathe a little easier and let's just run the clock down. And all of a sudden we get a score. Like,
and then they just kept coming. Yeah.
I'm happy, but really, y'all really, we're watching a movie and they basically waited until the last 5 minutes to have the exciting scenes and whatever. So, how much do you guys think the struggles on offense are impacting the defense? And you, Rodg, I think you know why I say this, because we've said in the past, those times when the offense continues to go 3 and out, no matter how good or bad your defense is, you can't keep putting them on the field in any situation. So how much do you guys think, if any, if the answer is 0, that's fine too, how much is the offense impacting the defense?
Go ahead, Rodg.
No, you go ahead.
It impacts it a lot because you look at it, when Alabama's offense can't get off to a fast start, and when I look at that as if you can't get off to a fast start, you can't score on your first few offensive possessions, then you're putting your defense back out there, and your defense has to kind of carry you. And then when you have 3 and outs consecutively offensively, then your defense really feels like it's in a bind. And I go back to the South Florida game for just a moment here. I mean, the score was 14-13 for a good portion of that game. It was 14-13. And it shouldn't have been that way, especially if you have an offense that's out there sustaining drives, wearing down South Florida's defensive front, and then ultimately putting points on the scoreboard. So, yes, I mean, we can go back to as great as Tua Tagovailoa was. Tua had the same thing where Tua would want to score so fast and score so quick and get a touchdown so quick. And we were like, yay, that's cool. Tua scored, offense, awesome.
Yeah.
But that put our defense back out there, and they tired as all get out. And Nick Saban just couldn't say, Tua, stop scoring all the time. Like you can't really say that because you're putting points on the board. But it's like your defense is dog tired.
Yeah. That's actually where that discussion started at for us, Stephen, because that's an excellent point with Tua. I always said Tua was like going to get you a 3-and-out or a score, and
like score right away.
And no matter what happened, the defense was back on the field within a couple minutes. So that's where that conversation actually started.
He hit it dead on the head. I feel like I feel like this past game, we were putting a lot of effort and a lot of pressure on our defense because the offense was playing so poorly at times. And I was kind of getting ready to tell Herb and text Herb, I was like, we need to get an interception. We need to get a stop. We need to get a fumble recovery or something. We need to get a turnover here because the offense wasn't producing, but it's because they kept on getting penalties and we really couldn't get a flow going on offense. And again, to both of y'all's point, when your offense isn't playing well, your defense is going to be on the field a lot longer than they need to. And, we got to make sure that they start to gel together. I also got to make sure that this offensive line develops some assiduity and some what else am I going to say? Assiduity and just gel together, I guess, over practice. And I'm assuming, and Stephen can allude to this, Caden Proctor will be back this Saturday. Obviously, if he's back, that'll definitely help out the O-line a little bit. Assuming Elijah Pritchett will be ready to go too. Hope you can kind of help us out with that one. We don't have the inside word on those. So
I mean, first and foremost, we got SAT words going strong tonight. But,
I had to use it.
Hey, we got SAT words going big time tonight. We're going into Caden Proctor. He was actually starting to feel a whole lot better than that a week of practice last week, and he could have gone. He was chomping at the bit to get out there. He could have gone. Kalen DeBoer wanted to be precautious, as a lot of coaches tend to be when you have one of your top players that's coming off an injury. So he decides to not put Caden Proctor out there, but Proctor looked visibly frustrated because he wanted to be out there. This week, he will be in practice this week. He will play against Wisconsin. He's expected to be back for Wisconsin, so that's huge there. So you would have him back at left tackle. You have Booker back at his spot at left guard. You have Parker at center, right guard, Roberts, right tackle, and Elijah Pritchett. And I think that's the five that you let learn each other. That's the five that grow. That's the five you let build continuity. You can continue to work in Wilkin Formby in some situations because you definitely want to have – you don't want to take his confidence from him. You definitely want to work him in. But I think the five of Proctor, Booker, Brailsford, Roberts, and Pritchett would be the five that you got to build that continuity with.
If you were Coach DB, would you rest Proctor one more week since we are playing Wisconsin? Not saying anything disrespectful to the program, but just would you rest him one more week, or would you go ahead and let him play if he's ready to go?
I would let him play if he's ready to go because I don't want his first game on the field to be against Georgia.
Yeah,
like you want to talk about Kevin Rudolph? Welcome to the world. Your first game of the season is against Georgia, Kirby Smart, and you have no game reps prior to that. So if I'm carrying on the board this week against Wisconsin, I'm getting Caden back on that field, and I am getting him game reps before the bye week, before you have to face Georgia on the 28th.
Agreed. I agree. All right. Any other final thoughts on the Bama game before we kind of look around the rest of the SEC and what happened this past week?
Not really. I just want to, echo my sentiment earlier for Wilkin Formby. We know he had a bad game, but he's going to be a great player going forward. So Joe, much props to him. keep that positive energy going in the locker room, he'll be all right.
Yeah.
I gotta give props to Q Robinson, man. His dad passing away 2 days for the game, and Q Robs from Birmingham, his dad was a huge part of his life, and many people wouldn't have been able to battle through that and still be on the field and play with the loss of a family member, and to see him go out there in honor of his dad, flying around, had a huge sack in the game, and playing with a lot on his heart, a lot on his mind, a lot of emotion going through that young man. And for him to go out there and play and have as strong of a game as he did, very proud of Q Robinson.
Yeah. Agreed, man. Agreed. That's tough. I can't only imagine, having to deal with that and going back out there. So appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And Rodg, that was also well said. If you're looking at this game and blaming any one player anyway, like, you're just mistaken. That was a total team thing. And even as Stephen Amos points out, the coaching and the play calling is not great either. So that was a total team thing. Anybody who's trying to put it all at the foot of one person, you're just mistaken. So, and that's just not how this is done. All right, just looking around the rest of the conference real quick. We'll get back to Chris's question. Would we be mistaken that Texas is better than they are, or is Michigan really bad? I think the answer, to me at least, is somewhere in between. Texas is better than we thought, even despite the injuries. But Michigan's offense, I mean, can we bring up a password? It was putrid. So I never expected them to be able to score really with Texas. So I'll throw it out to you guys. Kat just says yes. But I'll throw it out to you guys about Texas and Michigan and that game in general.
Yeah, I think the same thing as you, Herb. I'm 50-50 with it. I think Texas is better than what we kind of predicted them to be. Obviously, their big test will be, when they host Georgia sometime next month. But Michigan's offense, I knew going into the season that their defense would be pretty solid, but I had no idea how good, if any good, that how good their offense is going to be. Sorry about that. But it looks like they're still having quarterback issues. Can't really do anything else than that. They can run the ball decent, but that in this day and age in college football, if you can't throw the ball, you're just not going to be able to compete for that long. So they've got some things that they need to work out, and it's only a matter of time before they can kind of figure out the QB situation.
Michigan got gutted. I mean, when you lose Harbaugh to the NFL after what happened last year, you lose J.J. McCarthy, you lose, 13 draft picks, you start to understand, the guys behind these dudes are not prepared. They're absolutely not prepared. And for Sharon Moore, it's going to be tough for him because Jim Harbaugh left him with this. And we're still looking at, when does the NCAA hand down what they're trying to hand down too?
Yeah.
Because, that's looming over the program at this point. I mean, the guy that did all of the hoopla has a Netflix documentary right now, being Connor Stallion. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Coach Moore pulls this out, if he can pull this out. But Michigan got gutted, man. They got gutted.
Yeah. And John had an interesting point about Sharon Moore, Coach Moore being brought in, and he was like, they wish they would have gone outside the
program,
the team, just so maybe the sanctions didn't fall as hard on what was left. I don't know if Michigan had a choice if you're trying to keep any part of the team together, but I thought that was an interesting point by him. But and I mean, you're right. It was funny to me when they started to creep back into the top 10, because I was thinking, what's left? A lot of people drafted, had some people leave, your coaches leave. Like, I didn't think that they would be a top 10, honestly, to start the season. So Kat. The only thing I will say, Kat, is the last 3 years, with beating Ohio State and making the playoff and winning the Big Ten, they were on the cusp right before that. But yes, I think they did win the whole thing, and now they're going to slide back down. It's probably going to, especially with the introduction of Oregon, if USC can kind of get back up there and Washington rebuilds, it's going to be tougher for Michigan to kind of get back on top. Any other comments on Texas and Michigan?
No, I thought that game was going to be a little closer. I think I predicted Texas by either 7 to 10 points, but Texas just blew them away early, and it wasn't even a game. Come halftime, the game was over.
Yeah, I predicted a blowout. I predicted a blowout. I mean, I knew Sark was going to go to the big house and have some for him. I mean, Sarkisian is trying to really get people to understand that Texas is now the real deal under his leadership, and what a job he's done over there.
Yep.
I agree with you. Well said. Well said. And yeah, that was kind of like I didn't even go to the game this weekend, but I went on to camp and met some friends. But JT, Bama Standard, and we were watching the Texas game, and we ended up leaving like around halftime because that was no fun. That was no fun at all.
Yeah.
So, you know what was fun though?
What?
The Cal Auburn game. That was a lot.
Oh my God!
So wait. Did y'all watch any of that game? I didn't see a look at the game at all. I didn't watch any of it.
Was that on at the same time as ours, or when was
yes,
it?
Yes. All you need to know, Rodg, is Peyton Thorne and the imaginary ghost he was seeing all night long. Oh man. What do you have? Like 3 picks? Like 3 picks?
And a fumble for him, right? Because they had 5 turnovers. He had 3 picks and a fumble himself. So my favorite interception is you throw it to a guy, he catches the ball, he gets up, he's hurt, he's asking to come out of the game. They don't let him come out of the game, and then you throw to him again anyway, and the ball gets intercepted. Like
I didn't see any of this. I just went on social media, and everybody was roasting Auburn and Peyton Thorne. I'm like, man, what exactly is going on? So I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch some clips.
Look, Herb. And then right after the game, the post-game presser, Hugh Freeze. Why'd you go to the backup? I believe in Thorne, man. We got Peyton here. We got the quarterback we need. Hugh.
No, you don't.
Man, see, he's living off, what was it, one good season or a couple good games? Was it at Michigan State? And Hugh Freeze has hitched his wagon to him. And so I always do this. I always listen to podcasts after teams have lost to see what they're saying. Are they like hey, this is our fault, we got outplayed, the kudos of the team? Or are they like the refs screw? I always listen for that. The Auburn guys are like, bring in the next guy. On their podcast, I listen to 3 like, bring on the next guy. It was like, even if he's bad, I'd rather grow with the bad guy than like Thorne, who's already capped at whatever he's going to be. But this is the equivalent of like Auburn. You're like peanut butter with no jelly. You are like cereal with no milk. You went out and got the best wide receiving recruiting class you could and decided to not get a quarterback. And this is what happens in games like this.
Dude. So as y'all both know, my dad's an Auburn fan. So I got a kick out of calling him. and I
just how did he answer the phone? Did he answer the phone like, what, Stephen? What is it?
Rodg. It was worse than that. Baby, your son on the phone. And so I'm like, hold on. I ain't trying to talk to mom. I'm trying to talk to you right now.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
Hey, Pops, I'm trying to talk to you right now. What you want, man? Hey, how you feeling right now? What you mean how I'm feeling right now? How the Auburn? We lost, Stephen. And Thorne sucks. Freeze sucks. The planes suck.
So question, hold on. With that being said, does he message you or call you when Alabama was playing bad this past Saturday? Does he reach out to you or was he?
No. Okay. He does not. Like, I come home and I'm the one talking about, we got all this stuff to clean up. At least y'all won, Stephen. We got Peyton Thorne to deal with. At least y'all won. Hugh Freeze may be fired mid-season. At least y'all won.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
I wonder how many recruits Auburn had at that game watching them fail.
I heard it was several.
Okay.
Well, and there's always a way to look at 2 different ways to look at it. If you're the offensive guy, you're thinking, well, look how bad the offense is. I might get in there sooner.
Right.
Or you might be thinking, I don't want to join that dumpster fire. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I get where you're going with it. It's just that was bad. That was bad football.
Hey, Herb and Rodg, like, what made it so much funnier with my dad was I decided to flip the conversation. Okay, how did your other team do? You mean Prime, Colorado?
Yeah.
They lost.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good segue into the next segment. Yeah,
let's keep it rolling.
I only saw some of that game. Sorry to interrupt you. I only saw some of that game, but based on what Shador was saying post game, Shador was getting destroyed, man.
Mike's with you, by the way, there, Steven. He's got to tease the family members about it. Rodg, so we picked that game, and we both. So
did we
last
both
year,
pick
I
Nebraska?
can't remember what we did, huh?
Did we both pick Nebraska though?
Oh yeah, we both picked Nebraska. We didn't think it would be close. I didn't. Yeah. Nebraska last year just didn't have an offense, so they couldn't keep up with Colorado. But I knew I think everybody knew they had the better defense out of the two teams. So with any semblance of offense, yeah, I mean, I thought Colorado would score some, but Nebraska put that game away early and just said, forget the whole thing.
Yep.
I mean, Dylan Raiola just said, "Hey, I'm here. Deal with it.
I'm that guy."
Yep. So, I mean, it is year 2. So this is always the question that kind of gets thrown out because things happen quicker than they used to. Is Deion in trouble?
How so? Just from a coaching perspective, or
hot
just
seat? Yeah.
Hot seat. I don't think he's in the hot seat yet, because for the fact that it is year 2. But depending on how this season ends up, knowing that they're 1-1 now, they're gonna fight and claw just to try to make a not a playoff game, but a bowl game.
Yeah, not a playoff.
Not a playoff game. I could see his seat starting to warm up closer to the end of the season. But right now, I think he's okay. He's surviving right now. But without looking at the rest of their schedule, like I said, 5-6 wins. Be lucky to get 6 wins.
Yeah.
I don't think the seat is burning now. But I think the one thing Prime has got to do is he's got to calm down a little bit, especially in press conferences. You're going after CBS and whatnot. He's gonna have to calm down. Number 2, he's gonna have to get him a defense, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Because I mean, North Dakota State hung with you. You saw Nebraska putting up points on you. Like, Prime, y'all got to get y'all a defense.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, after
let's be honest, the way he came in, that was fine. He had to change the whole roster. You can't do it every season.
Right.
You don't build any kind of continuity. And now he's at a point where he's changing the whole roster and the whole coaching staff. You can't do that and be successful.
And this Saturday they played Colorado State, and remember that was the game last year that didn't end till like after midnight or 1:00 in the morning. So that's gonna be a close game, and I'm pretty sure Colorado State is gonna want some revenge too. So that's
Rodg and I can't give our picks on that game because we're doing that on our channel. But Stephen M., if you've got a pick on that or if you got some insight, we'd love to hear that.
Colorado State. I mean, that game was a doozy last year. I think it's going to be a tight one again.
Yeah. And the line's like 7 or 7.5 or something. I was like, if I was that kind of person, I'm taking Colorado State. There's nothing you can do to convince me to take Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm actually taking the Colorado State Rams by 7. I'm actually taking the Rams by 7.
Yeah. And I can't blame you. Like, that's just like, you would have thought that was crazy, but no.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is what one of good friends, Tom Canterbury, one of the guys actually kind of got me started in like podcast stuff. He said, if you've got 2 top picks, 2 guys who, some people think could go 1 and 2 in the draft, and this is how you finish out your season, like that kind of goes to you and how well you are or not coaching, if you're going to have that much talent out there. And then that also says, like, what's going to happen to you next year when everybody that's either related to or you drive with you is gone? I
was just about to say that. You talked about him being on the hot seat. After this year, once Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are gone, I don't know who the new quarterback's going to be, and there's no replacing Travis Hunter whatsoever. He's one of the best players in college football. So I don't know how good they're going to do. So they better win a lot of games this year, because I'm not really good. We're not really sure how good they're going to do next year. And for Shedeur, I mean, if he is going to be a high draft pick, he's most likely going to get drafted to an NFL team who's not going to have a really good offensive line. So, I understand that Deion made his claim, was it last year or sometime, of teams that he wants Shedeur to get drafted to, but I don't know if any of that's going to happen.
Right.
So it's going to be some interesting first couple of years for Shedeur.
Well, they better all right now, but have that come to Jesus meeting, man. They better have that come to Jesus meeting, because if you don't start catching lightning in a bottle, it's going to be bad news.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. All right, let's start moving into, unless you guys, the other kind of the games, Tennessee blew out NC State, SEC-wise. Arkansas, I don't know if it's a heartbreaker or just a collapse, but Arkansas just gave one away.
That was a collapse, man.
That's another one.
Woo pig suey, y'all had it. And y'all
another game
to get away.
Another game I missed, and I just had to go to all the comments, and I'm like, I can't believe I missed this game because we were out running errands or grocery or whatever, doing whatever we're doing.
Look,
but I missed it.
Porky Pig. The pig let Mike Gundy and the fighting mullet get away.
That was yeah. I remember Rodg and I both picked Oklahoma State, and early on I was like, "Well, that's a loss." And then all of a sudden, it's like, "You guys are really gonna lose this game."
Because Arkansas was up like 14-0, I think, at one point. 14-0, 14-3, but obviously things didn't go their way.
Like 14-6 at halftime, but they scored early. It looked bad, Rodg. I want to say they were like 21-6 as well, so it looked bad for a long time for them. So, all right, let's start taking our first looks at next week, unless somebody has a comment about any of the others.
I got one comment. I want to ask y'all's opinion. DJ Lagway from Florida, is he the next hope for them? Is he going to provide them with more wins, or is it just obviously they played Samford, but he looked good from what I hear. I didn't watch that game either, but he looked good.
I'd say maybe their only hope, maybe not like the next hope, but more like there's not a lot of hope in Florida, so throw out the next guy and let him take some lumps, kind of thing. If that makes sense, Rob.
Yep.
In the words of my boy Eminem, B Rabbit from 8 Mile, you better lose yourself. All right. This is the only shot that you got to make something happen. So he's it. It's either this or Billy Napier. I'm fired.
Yeah. I think it's just they have to make, Rodg.
And A&M plays at Florida Saturday, so that could be an interesting game.
Yeah. And that's the game Rodg and I will be picking. So you guys got to tune into our YouTube. I think we'll record it tomorrow. We'll put it out Friday or Saturday, so you guys can check out our personal picks on that game. That's one of the ones that Big Mike has slated for us. So, all right, let me post this comment and we can start talking a little Wisconsin. This is from Randy earlier in the day. Not a big rah-rah SEC guy. I need Alabama to handle business this week, fellas. Make it happen. So we'll start with you, Stephen M. Since you ran practice yesterday, how do you feel about things being clear? And let me also say this. Wisconsin has not looked great to start the year either. You know, Western Michigan 28-14, South Dakota 27-13, both of those home games. So, you know, lackluster start for them. How do you feel starting with you running practice on Monday? And you already said Womack is very upset about the Tide kind of refocusing and heading into this Wisconsin game.
Well, the good news about all of this, guys, is Wisconsin's in an identity crisis. They don't know what their identity is. I mean, gone are the days of Paul Chris and Brett Bielema, where they knew what they were as far as a smash mouth, run the football type of program.
Right.
With Phil Longo as the offensive coordinator, Phil Longo wants to bring them into this offensively, throw the ball around some. We know Phil Longo from his time at Ole Miss. He had the likes of Jordan Tiamu, Shea Patterson, Matt Corral, receivers like DK Metcalf, Cody Core, Evan Ingram, Laquan Treadwell, AJ Brown. We know those guys. He had all those guys. And then in North Carolina, he had Sam Howell and Drake May. So we know what Phil Longo was capable of in terms of calling plays. However, Tyler Van Dyke, a bit of a gunslinger. He had a good freshman year, but injuries and inconsistency have plagued his career.
Right.
And so now at Wisconsin, where they kind of want to run the football, Phil Longo also wants Tyler Van Dyke to have a significant role within this offense. But because of the fact that Wisconsin's at a crossroad here, I feel like if Alabama makes Tyler Van Dyke throw the ball 25, 30 times, Bama's going to win this game. The more Tyler Van Dyke throws the football, the worse he gets. So you put this game in the arms of Tyler Van Dyke and say you beat us. Like you put pressure on him, and you make him beat you with the one thing he's not that particularly good at. He has NFL arm talent, but at the same time, Van Dyke is way too inconsistent. So you heat him up in that pocket, there are plenty of opportunities for takeaways.
Yep. And yes, this is the same Tyler Van Dyke that we played. We opened up the season with when we played Miami. Was that 2021 or 2022?
2021. He had one pass attempt. One.
Wow. So yeah, that's the same guy. I just feel like from an Alabama's perspective, I don't see us playing back-to-back, highly penalized games. I just don't see that happen. I think a lot of things are going to get cleaned up this week, both on the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. I think if we can establish our run game earlier, they'll definitely open up the pass game. And I would love to see Milroe spread the ball around to a lot of our playmakers. I know some people who aren't Alabama fans might look at the teams, they don't have a lot of great wide receivers. They got Ryan Williams, but we got playmakers on the field. It's just a matter of whether they can get their hands on the ball. We got the guys out there. So I would love to see that happen in this game. Offensively, I just don't think Wisconsin's going to have enough firepower to really do much. They're going to try to run the ball, maybe pass it a little bit. I predicted one interception last game. Obviously, we didn't get it. So we got to make up for it this week. I'm predicting 3 turnovers this Saturday, 2 interceptions. That's my prediction.
By us or total?
We're gonna have specific. I'm sorry. We're gonna get 2 interceptions, and we're gonna get a fumble recovery. So yeah.
All right. Hey, look now. So with me running practice this week, them guys didn't get no water today. So it's tough a bit to get them turnovers. I made sure the guys didn't get a drink of water. I saw the water boy go over. I had to knock the water boy back. They don't get no water.
Did you even let them go back to their homes after this, or are they staying in the locker room tonight?
I had them boys watching film. I had them boys watching Training Day. Man. I had them boys.
Dang, Training Day?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Are either of you guys surprised that the line opened where it did?
What is it? 16, 14?
Yeah, like 15 and a half, 16, somewhere in there.
It's about for Bama?
Yes.
I'm not shocked because it's Vegas. This is what Vegas does. But I'm a little bit surprised that the line was 15 though.
I totally forgot something. Rodg, what do you think about it? And give me one.
A little bit. It's not necessarily what I predicted. My score prediction is going to be us winning by more than 14, simply because I don't think they're going to be able to put a hold on our offense. But I guess the Vegas is playing it safe, based on how we performed last week too, and they're just going to throw that in there. So they're playing it safe. It is what it is.
All right, and of course, someone has failed us, so we are going to have to pull this up. No, it's me, and I made a mistake on not loading up Mike's stuff for this week.
Oh, okay.
So we are going to bring that up real quick.
I mean, the way you said that, Herb, kind of scared me. Someone has.
Oh yeah, no. First off, if one of you guys made the mistake, I wouldn't let anybody know. Say someone made it.
That sounded real ominous for a minute. But I was like, "What the world?"
Sorry,
I'm about to be
sorry.
No.
I just forgot to bring up Mike's fun fact about Wisconsin. So, Rodg, have you looked at any other games coming out this week besides?
Honestly, not really. Not really. I forgot to tell you this, Herb, but our neighbor's son turns 2 Saturday, and I was under the impression that this birthday party, and this is just going off on a tangent here. I was under the impression this birthday party was at 2. I said, okay, Bama plays at 11. By 2 o'clock, game should be wrapped up. We'll walk across the street to the neighbor's house. The game is the party starts at 12. So I'm looking around like, and it's a pool party. We're bringing the kids, so I'm going to have to monitor the kids in the pool. It's going to be hard to keep up with the game. Frustrated at that, but it is what it is. I can't outdo it. So, and I know that didn't answer your question, but sorry, I just had to get that.
No. I mean, that's a good one. I can't believe that. I mean, you already know down south, like that's just not happening. If you invite me somewhere on a Saturday, Mom doesn't call me on Saturday, so that's just not happening.
So. Herb, same here. I don't like the only time I get a phone call on Saturday is after the game, and she'll be like, "Y'all won, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Roll Tide." There you go.
Yeah.
I like it.
One game right quick that might be interesting. The 2:30 game on Fox is Oregon at Oregon State. I haven't watched either of. Well, I'm sorry, I watched a little of the Boise State game, but Oregon doesn't look offensively. They don't look like I guess I thought they would look. I thought Gabriel was going to help him put up some more points, but he hasn't quite done that yet. Both games they played, they've been kind of close. What now? And they won last week like 37-34, and then the first game was like 24-14 something when they beat Idaho. So this Oregon State game might get interesting.
Yeah.
Is that game in Corvallis?
It's at Oregon State, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, that's Corvallis. So
and the line is right now. The line is Oregon by 16, but both teams are 2-0, so that could be a close one.
Yeah, sorry, I don't think I'll be able to lose. So Mike is probably going to kill me. So I'm sorry, Mike.
I did enjoy Mike's fun fact about Western Kentucky's mascot.
Oh yeah. I think that was something a lot of us were wondering because that was an interesting looking mascot. Oh yeah, LSU plays South Carolina.
Let's go into the questions of death, and if Mike sends it to me or loads it up real quick, we will play it before the end. Otherwise, we'll have a very special one where we'll play it either during Bama versus World or something else. So
all right, you ready?
First? Or you want? Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm asking you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Herb. I got.
I'm waiting for the question.
All right. First one's pretty easy. Work, play, live, ditch, and we're gonna do College Game Day edition.
Okay.
The names are Herb Street, Desmond Howard, Lee Corso, and of course Pat McAfee. I did not include Saban and Reese Davis because they both have Bama affiliations, so I wanted to leave those two out.
Okay. So let's start with these one, and I apologize, but Lee Corso's getting up there on age, so
remember
my phone.
Wow.
So I'm definitely gonna have to ditch Corso.
Wow.
And he probably won't even remember I ditched him, so I think I'm okay there.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe you said that.
Sorry. I guess I'll live next to Desmond Howard.
Okay.
Just because it seemed like the least fun out of all the rest of them. So live next to Desmond Howard. I'll work with Herbie because just for the confusion, if anybody says Herb, I'll just pretend like it's not me, and I'll pretend like they were talking to him so I can get out of work that way. And
no surprise you're playing with Pat.
We going out. Come on, man. You know you're gonna show up with
Pat's gonna get you into some trouble though. Pat's gonna get you into some trouble.
That's what Cat we definitely getting in trouble. But I'll have a great story to tell. So
gotcha. You want the other one right now?
Sorry.
You go ahead.
I got you. All right, Stephen M. You have work, play, live, ditch. Alabama quarterbacks edition. All right.
Oh, snap.
Mac Jones, Bryce Young, Tua, Jalen.
Milroe or Hurts?
Oh,
say what?
That's a good one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hurts. We're going with the pass. Sorry, my bad.
So we got Mac, Bryce, Tua, Jalen. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Man, I would work with Mac because I feel like Mac would be the type of person that would have his desk organized and everything. I would work with Mac Jones. I would live next to Bryce.
Me too.
Let's see. I would live next to
Bryce. Who are you ditching? That's what I want to know.
Oh, man. Let's see here. I would definitely party with Jalen.
Yes.
Because of the injury history, I got to ditch to him.
Oh my goodness. He ain't going to get hurt while y'all are partying.
Oh, man.
Look, man. I'll be out to the dance one to him. Oh, man. Knee. Trying to keep the shuffle on my knee.
Terrible.
Wow.
All right. Before we get to the last question for this, let's get two things out the way real quick. First, really the star of the show these days, Big Mike and his Wisconsin fun fact. Thank you, Mike. And I appreciate you, man, for loading that up. I do have a gift and I still owe you dinner. So that's at least 2 things. So here we go.
What's up, everybody? It's Big Mike back again with this week's edition of Bama Opponents Fun Facts. This week's opponent, the University of Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin University's nickname, the Badgers, was actually borrowed from the state of Wisconsin itself, which is known as the Badger State. Although contrary to popular belief, the name didn't come from the animals in the region. It comes rather from an association with lead miners that lived there in the early 1800s. Without shelter in the winter, the miners had to live like badgers in tunnels burrowed into hillsides to stay warm, thus giving the state and the school the nickname. And that's this week's Bama Opponent Fun Fact. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide, Mike. Roll Tide.
I didn't know that. I also didn't know that. Shout out to Mike.
Mike is educating us one step at a time.
He is. So Mike, I don't think was going to do that. And I want to say Kat gave him a compliment about it and said he had to continue. Mike took it to the next level this year. So good job to Mike. Both of them for the tag team there. So here's the other contour. It seems like it goes to bed at 7 p.m. Yep, Mike is a boss. Yep. Agreed. Mike is even more impressive in person. So what you guys are seeing is just scratching the surface. So
gotcha.
Remind me to tell you guys about the time I had to wait 30 minutes just to hang out with him because he was signing autographs. So, the other small thing we got to get to, Rodg.
Yeah.
This week's top 5, same thing as last week.
Okay.
College football teams top 5 in particular order.
Okay. I'm gonna say I still have Georgia at 1. Texas at 2. I'm not putting Tennessee up that high. I can't do that. I'm gonna put us at 3. Even with Ohio State at 3. I'll put Bama at 4. Tennessee's offense is looking pretty smooth. I'll put Tennessee at 5. It'll probably change over the next week, but I put Tennessee at 5. That's okay.
Steven M, any changes?
I like the 5 Rodg went with. I like the 5 Rodg went with. That's a good 5.
I like it. All righty. Rodg, you got one more question for us?
I do. Got one more for you, Herb. All right.
Actually, I'm going to do Steven M's first because we're going to end with that one because I like that one.
Gotcha. All
right. If you could bring any, all right, give me a number between 1 and 3.
2.
You going to do a magic trick?
Yes.
Okay.
Oof. Any 2 players from past Nick Saban teams and add them to this team, who would it be?
Oh man, that's easy. Any 2 from past Nick Saban teams and add them to this team right here. Yep. Give me in the secondary. I will take Minkah Fitzpatrick back.
Yes.
So add Minkah, and then at wide receiver, let me get forget that. At tight end, give me OJ Howard back.
Woo!
Oh, that's a threat there.
Big game OJ.
Yeah.
That's a threat. Oh yeah.
What you got here? Reggie Ragland. Nice. Seeing Reggie this weekend, that was nice, man. That was real. It'll touch your heart, man. Listening to him talk.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, seeing Reg was awesome. Seeing the entire 2014 SEC championship team get recognized on the anniversary was really cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Awesome.
All right, Rod, bring on your last question.
All right, last question. So the reason I'm asking this question is because Herb and I used to be huge Simpsons fans when the show was first created a long time ago. We had sweatshirts. I think I had a sleeping bag. I even had a Bart Simpson doll. I know I can't believe I'm saying this.
We had Bart Simpson sweatshirts, and mine said Herbie, and mine said
Rodg. I had a Bart Simpson sleeping bag. I thought it was cool. I haven't watched it in years, but still, anyway, that's just where we're going with that. So let's just say that the company comes to you and says they're going to do a live action version of The Simpsons. Herb, which current or former SEC athletes are going to play these roles as a live action Simpsons movie? You got Homer, Bart, Lisa, and Marge. I left out Maggie because she just has a pacifier. So Homer, Bart, Lisa, Marge, Krusty the Clown, and Moe the bartender.
Oh, okay. So first off, I did change it up just a little bit. I only went with Alabama players as to not insult any other fan bases. Okay.
All right.
And I only went with guys because I didn't want to compare any of them to like Lisa Simpson and have them come after me. Okay.
Okay.
So I got Homer, Bart, Krusty, Ned. I threw a Ned Flanders, and then I threw
that's
in
fine.
the
That's
bartender. Fine. Okay. So I got 5. Okay.
All right.
So for Homer Simpson, I went with Quentin Williams. Because if any of the guys I could see saying the words "don't" on the field, it was Q. So I would put Quentin Williams. Okay.
All right.
For Bart Simpson, I went with Tua. Yes, because he just seemed like the rule breaker and the guy who was kind of thinking outside the box, kind of like, let me.
I thought you were going to say somebody like Reuben Foster or something for Bart Simpson.
No, because for Tua, the story that he told after throwing the game winner against Georgia and getting fussed at by Nick Saban, why'd you take it back? And he was like, so we could have more room to throw. Like that seems like a Bart Simpson, kind of thing. So that's why I went with Tua for Bart. Okay.
All right.
For Krusty the Clown, do you have a guess on this one? Or do you want me to just show it?
I can't think. Go ahead. Just to show it.
Because this is a big goofball out there. One of maybe my favorite players ever.
Yeah.
But this guy,
remember Landon?
Yeah. A fake flop against Florida State. Like, this guy was a complete clown. So, love Landon Dickerson. He was the first person that came in mind for that. Okay.
All right.
For Ned Flanders, I picked Jalen Hurts because of how serious he is. I could just see him like, Oakley dokley, guys, we got to get this right. He just seemed like a straight arrow, never get in trouble. Like, this is the guy. So that's why I went with Jalen Hurts for that.
I did not see that one coming.
And I had to do this one, man. For Mo the bartender, I had to go with Coach Saban. Especially after that last commercial where he was like, no fun, no good. He just seemed like to get these kids off my lawn and out of my bar kind of guy. So Nick Saban got Mo.
I like that list. That Quentin Williams as Homer, though, that's hilarious, though.
I'm glad you guys agree.
Oh, yeah.
So Kat would have brought back Meek. Oh, she was talking about Meekin. Yep.
And Minka's one of my all-time.
Say what?
Minka's one of my all-time favorite Bama players. I love Minka.
Yeah. To Kat, I just have to know, does Minka know that you're cheating on him with Terrion? But that's a whole other one. So again, Tua would be Ned because he goes to bed at 7. So
yeah,
they like the other one. So appreciate it. All right, Steven, man, we always appreciate you stopping by. Other than running practices, what do you got going on this week?
Other than running practices, I'm making sure that we're getting Caden Proctor on the field Saturday.
Yes.
I told him, you gonna play. I'm like, your shoulder fine, boy. You gonna play.
Yeah.
Get back in the training room. Get yourself in that cryo, tub treatment. You're gonna be playing Saturday. So getting up, Caden ready to go. And I even talking to Coach DeBoer, like, man, it's okay, Coach, to get mad a little bit sometimes. Like, when the camera hits you, you calm and whatnot, and that's cool. But it's okay to mean mug the camera. All right, it's okay. No one's gonna think anything less of you if you just mean mug the camera one time. So just trying to get the guy situated.
I like it. Appreciate it. Guys, thank you again. Wonderful show. I enjoyed it, man. I was not in the best frame of mind. You guys always put me in a good frame of mind, so I appreciate it. To everybody listening, making comments, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll be back next week, hopefully for another positive show after Wisconsin win and going into the bye week. So enjoy yourselves. Have a great week. And as always,
roll Tide.
Rolling.